So thank you for checking out my podcast. And if you're wondering how I record my podcast, well, I actually use Anchor, which is a fantastic tool, free resource to use. But if you're new to podcasting like I have been, it really helps you to get started without worrying about editing and doing all the sort of hard work yourself. It does it all for you. If you haven't used it, it's probably the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain a few tips for you. It's free, which is fantastic. You don't have to pay anyone to edit your podcast or pay for software. There's loads of tools that allow you to record and edit the podcast right from your phone and computer. So again, you don't need any special equipment. So if you're looking to start a podcast and you're sort of on a budget, it's a perfect way of starting. Um, the best thing which I found, it helps to distribute your podcast for you, so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more hosts that um, listen to podcasts. The best thing for me was that, because trying to distribute it from another software was really confusing, and all the technical know-how which I don't have was done for me by Anchor. So you can just, once you click the podcast, say where you want it delivered to, and it will do all the work for you, which is fantastic. And also, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So ads like you listen to on this one, this is an ad just talking about Anchor. You can get a little bit of commission from that, which is great. So extra bit of money in your pocket from doing what you love. And I have no problem doing this advert for Anchor, because ultimately it has allowed me to create a podcast. So if you're passionate about something, I'm going to talk about it, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So for me, I would recommend Anchor 100% if you're looking to start to do a podcast. And obviously then you can, elaborate and get better with your podcast, but you can just get better sound equipment. But all the software you need to do a podcast on the go or at home on a computer is all from Anchor. So for me, it's the best tool I've ever used when it comes to starting a podcast. So definitely, if you're interested in starting your own podcast, whether that is on health or fitness or travel, just pick something that you're passionate about and talk about it, then download the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, and welcome to the Plant Based Revolution podcast with your host, myself, Neil Damrell from My Lifestyle Coach. Thank you very much for listening and taking your time out your precious day to spend it with me today. And thank you very much for your support and the listeners that have been tuning in week after week. I want to give a big shout out to Denise Paris, who's been listening, and she was kindly enough to do a review over on iTunes, a 5-star review. So Denise, thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate you taking the time out to do a review for us, and also hope you're enjoying the content, and really appreciate your support. And if any of you are out there who've been listening and haven't done a review yet, then I would really appreciate you guys heading over to iTunes, pop us a review, good or bad. I'd love to get all your feedback, because if it's good, it provides me with some good support to carry on and keep providing some good content for you guys. And also, if it's slightly negative, then I can learn from that and hopefully deliver, learn from other mistakes or deliver more content that you guys want to hear, if there's any topics that you'd like me to cover. So, you can always get in touch via the social media outlets that will be in the show notes. But any questions, directly to me, and we can maybe turn those into a podcast for you and help you adjust to a more plant-based lifestyle, and also improve your fitness mindset and have some fun along the way. So today's episode, just a short, brief episode with myself, talking about how you can achieve your goals, and going to give you my top 3 tips to achieve your goals. So whether that's adjusting to a more plant-based diet, trying to lose weight, trying to gain more muscle, want to achieve, run a marathon or something, whatever your goals are, I think it's vitally important that you focus on these 3 top tips that I'm going to provide you for today. They're very simple, very effective, but if you apply them in any area of your life, then I guarantee that if you're consistent, you will have a higher chance, a higher percentage of succeeding in achieving your goals, compared to if you're not following these tips. So we'll get stuck into it straight away. First tip is structure. So if you're going to achieve anything in your life, you need some structure. So if you think about getting in your car, and these days we've all got sat nav, so that helps us get to our destination quicker, more efficiently, helps us avoid traffic. It will give us the quickest and most efficient route possible. Where before we might have had to have a roadmap, we might have to plan our journey, so it would have taken us a bit longer, but we still planned our journey. 9 times out of 10, if you haven't had a sat nav or a roadmap and you decided to wing it, then you're probably going to get to your destination eventually, but you probably get lost along the way. There might be a few hiccups, a few stressful moments because you've got lost. So it becomes a lot harder for you to get to where you want to go because you haven't got any structure in place. So that will apply not just to driving, but to your diet, to your exercise program. You need to have some form of structure. You need to have some form of plan to follow that's going to slowly get you to where you want to achieve. If I take the example of myself training for a marathon recently, I had a plan of what I needed to do in terms of build up my mileage week after week, what kind of sessions I had to do. So that helped me get to the start line. I wasn't fully fit, unfortunately. I had an injury a few weeks out, but still managed to achieve and complete the marathon, which is an achievement in itself. But if I hadn't had a structure or plan, which started 4-5 months before the marathon, I wouldn't been in a good enough shape to achieve the marathon and complete it as I did. So it's important to write down where you want to go in the next 90 days, and really just think about how you want to get there and what things and steps you can take on a daily basis to get there. So for me, I had to make sure I was running 3 times a week. So for you, if you wanted to lose weight, it could be a simple thing of make sure I drink more water and try and drink at least 2 litres of water a day. That could be a simple thing that you could just try and do every week. And if you know you're going to be doing that, you're going to be better hydrated. You're going to be less inclined to snack on unhealthy foods, because sometimes we mistake hunger or thirst for hunger. So by consuming more water, you're less likely to snack on unhealthy foods. So that could be a simple thing that you can actually do today just to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve, as opposed to trying to overcomplicate things. Another simple task could be, can I just have breakfast? Is breakfast something that you struggle with? Can you try and focus on preparing breakfast maybe the night before, some slow release notes that you can leave in the fridge overnight, and you've got breakfast on the go. And research shows that if you consume breakfast, you're less likely to consume more calories in the morning through processed foods, snack foods, to kind of increase your blood sugar levels, to get you through that morning slump where you might be feeling a little bit tired. So that is another step that you can apply today. Can I just make a simple breakfast, and that will set me up for the morning. And those things, if you're doing them on a daily basis, those things you can in direct control of. So think about the stuff that you're in direct control of. A lot of the times we worry about things that we're not in control of, and that kind of brings us down, and we have negative thoughts towards it. So just focus on the stuff that you can control, and like I said, if you've got a plan, focus on that plan and try and think what you have to do week to week to get to that plan. So just as I was running a mile at a time, trying to think of it one small step at a time. That's the best way, rather than trying to think about, if I was looking at the marathon, if I was thinking I've got to go and run 26 miles after I signed up, it can be quite an intimidating and daunting experience and a daunting thought that I've got to go and do that. But if I think about 1 mile at a time, can I run 1 mile at a time? Then I know I can achieve that. So can you do that one thing? Just focus on that one thing, and that's going to help you get to where you want to go. So number 2 is community. So it's really, really important to have a good community around you. So if you think about maybe your social circle currently, what people do you socialise with? Are these people that enjoy a takeaway maybe once too often, or will sit around and have pizza most nights, or some fast food? So if you think about that environment that you're in, it's going to be a lot harder for you to transition to a plant-based diet, or say for example one night you want a nice salad for dinner and everyone's used to having pizza, so you're going to feel quite isolated in that environment because all the people are doing the complete opposite. So it's going to be, unless you're really, really strong-minded, it's going to be a lot harder to not succumb to peer pressure and just maybe, I'll have the pizza tonight because no one else wants the salad. I'm going to feel isolated and under pressure to have the pizza, so all those things are going to be, it's going to be a lot harder for you to maintain those habits. So if I take my running example again, I talk about running a lot because I enjoy running. I do a lot of running, so it is a passion of mine. I go to a running club, so I'm around people that enjoy running. They are better than me, but they also are committed. So I am committed to the running club. So I go to the running club, I'm around the environment where I want to improve. They also want to improve, so they help me get better. I help them get better because we're always helping each other commit to the goals we want to achieve. When I was going for my long runs, I had some friends that would meet up every Saturday, every Sunday and go for a run. So I was committed to meeting them at a certain time and they were committed to me. So I was less likely to cancel on them and they were less likely to cancel on me because in fear we don't want to let each other down. If I just had to go on my own and there was no one else running, there's a bigger chance of me, depending on what the weather was like, especially during the winter months when it's pretty cold, for me to turn around and go, I might go in a gym and do a short session, or might not even bother today. So having someone and having a community around you that's going to help you achieve your goals is really, really important. That's why generally, if you look at any weight loss clubs, there's a community there that can help encourage people. They're all in the same boat. They can understand what you're going through. So really, really important to do that. Try and build a community. If you want to kind of focus on getting in more of a plant-based community, you can just find us on Facebook, because I have created a plant-based revolution community. So I'm trying to build a place where you guys can talk to me. We can provide you some advice and just help you along your journey. So if you've got a good community that you can speak to that are in the same boat, then you can all join. And what I'll do, I'll post the link to that community in the show notes so you guys can join up and you can ask questions to me, and we can interact away from the podcast, really get to know you as a listener a lot better. And like I said, if you've got a community of people that are all focusing on the similar goals, it's going to encourage you, and you're going to support them, and they're going to support you to help achieve your goals a lot quicker and less stressful, less pain, more taking away the sort of pain of trying to achieve something on your own. It was always a lot easier when you got the support of other people around you. So definitely community is number 2. Now number 3 is accountability. So if I take the example of you going to work, so you're accountable to your boss, you're accountable that you have to turn up on time to get paid. If you do not go to work, you will not get paid, and you'll potentially lose your job, and then obviously that puts financial stress on you, your family potentially, because you got no income to pay the mortgage, to pay the bills, etc. So because you're accountable to that boss, you're accountable to that job, in order to get the rewards of having your paycheck at the end of it, that keeps you accountable even on days when you might not feel like you need to go, you want to go to work. We might have those days if you're feeling a bit under the weather. You still will drag yourself out and get to work because you know you have to. So same thing in terms of what you want to achieve. If you want to run a marathon, if you want to lose weight, you need to have someone to be accountable to. You want someone there that can help kickstart your journey, but also keep you on your toes along the way. Because if you haven't got someone to be accountable to, it's very easy. You haven't got anyone to answer to, so it's easy just to say, no, I'm not going to do it. No one's there, so no one's telling me off. Or your boss is there telling you off. They'll be on your phone asking where you are, what you're doing. So you need to have someone in the same position that's going to help you achieve your goals and hold you accountable to them. So for me, to hold me accountable in terms of my own fitness, I would enter a marathon, because I know I've invested money to do the marathon, invested time. I've told people I'm doing it, so that's held me accountable as well. So I don't want to turn around unless I get a really bad injury, I can't do it. That I'm not going to, I'm going to not do the marathon because if I'm going to let people down because I've said I'm going to do it, I'm going to lose money if I don't do it, and also predominantly I'm letting myself down. So it's something I'm holding myself accountable to achieving the results I want to achieve, because I've decided to enter it. It gives me something to work towards, as opposed to I just want to go out running or want to be fit. What does fit mean? You need to have something that's really going to pull you towards your goal. So if you want to lose weight, for example, then maybe bet some money on it within work or something that's going to provide you with a real incentive to keep going. So you could say to someone, here's maybe £500. It needs to be a good chunk of money that you're not willing to depart with, and say that there's £500. Give it to a charity of your choice, or a charity that you would hate to donate to. That's another good way. And then say, if I don't lose X amount of weight in the next 3 months, you can donate that money. So if you've got something that you don't want to part with, it's going to hold you accountable, because you're working towards that goal. It's going to hold you accountable all the way. So, and also try and speak to more people about your goals and try and publicise it a bit more, because that's going to hold you accountable to what you want to achieve as well. Entering races, as I do, is another great way of keeping you accountable along the same journey. And also, if you think about accountability, having some form of a coach. So it doesn't have to be someone like a personal trainer. It could be mindset coach, whatever is best for you, but someone that you can maybe check in with on a weekly basis and just say, this is what I'm doing. Definitely for me, a coach is the way forward. I have a business coach. I'm looking at getting a running coach to try and improve my running, to really, really get and achieve the goals I really want to achieve. And they will hold you accountable and take away some of the stress of you trying to overanalyze whether you're going right or wrong, because sometimes we're in our heads, we're our own worst enemy, and we'll think about, I'm not really progressing, but then you go and speak to your mentor and they'll be like, nope, you're doing well, you just got to trust the process. It gives you some reassurance, so you're actually achieving the goals and on the right track to where you want to, where you want to go, as opposed to getting sort of downbeat on yourself and maybe falling off the wagon and not actually getting anywhere. So definitely have someone accountable to. That is a really, really key factor in achieving your goals. So I'm just going to recap what I've talked about. As I said, it's a little short podcast for you guys today, but I think it's a really, really vital one, and hopefully you can apply each of those tips in any area of your life, whatever you want to achieve, to help you achieve them. So remember, number one, have a structure, have a plan, have a mapped out plan of where you want to go, how you're going to get there, what things you can do on a daily basis to achieve those goals. So like I said, if you want to lose weight, it could be just a small calorie deficit per day. What you need to do, you're in control of that. So just focus on what you're in control of each day, and that will have a snowball effect down the line. It will gain momentum, and you'll get to your goals that you want to achieve a lot quicker. But you need to just focus on one day, have a structure in place each day of what you want to achieve, and just follow that plan, just as you would do, like I said, following a roadmap to get to your destination. So number one, structure. Number two is community. So remember, focus on a community that are going to support your goals. So You need to have the right people around you that are going to help you eat well, support you in that environment. There's no good being around people that want to go down the pub all the time and drink all the time. You're going to easily succumb to peer pressure and kind of fall into their trap. For me, my friends, we've transitioned into a cycling community as well, so we go on cycle holidays. There's a community there of everybody wants to do the same thing. I've got a passion for fitness. I think it's absolutely fantastic that collectively we're helping each other be positive, more active. So surround yourself with the people that you want to help you achieve those goals. And even if that environment's not maybe conducive at home, you can try and, you're not going to isolate yourself from friends and family, but you could maybe look at joining a club where other people actually in that mindset, and that can help you just know that you've got other people around you that are in the same boat that can support you externally. It doesn't always have to be within the people that you're close to on a daily basis. So you could go to a club once a week, like I said, a running club as I do, or as I said, a community of people online that just help inspire you to get healthier. So think about what community you can join to help you achieve your goals. And then number 3, as I said, is accountability. So just make sure that you can have someone you can be accountable to, or something that you can be accountable to. So like I said, I enter a marathon, so I'm accountable to achieving a certain mileage by a certain day because I don't want to let myself down on the day. Is there something that you're working towards, a holiday that you can focus on to be accountable to on that day to help you achieve your goals? So, and also put some investment in it. Normally when we invest something that's valuable to us in terms of money, that can help you achieve your goals a lot more efficiently and provide the support along the way as well. So focus on those 3 things. As I said, a bit more of a shorter podcast today, but very, very vitally important for you guys to really, really focus on these. What I'll do, I'll post some links in the show notes and some tips in the show notes to this episode as well. And like I said, a link to the community on Facebook that we have, the group Plant-Based Revolution, to try and encourage and support you along the way and provide you tips, recipes, and answer questions. Be there to answer questions that you may have along your plant-based journey. So hope this podcast has been helpful for you, and again, thank you very much for taking the time out of your precious day to listen to me today, wherever you are in the world. And don't forget, if you are enjoying the podcast, please pop over to iTunes and leave us a nice review. And if you do leave a review, then we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. So that'd be really, really, really appreciated. So thank you very much. So until next time, we'll see you on the next podcast. And there's some exciting podcasts coming up, a few more interviews with some good, really good, influential people in the industry. So I'm excited about those. So stay tuned for those. And we'll see you on the next podcast.